Welcome to Be a Voice. This is Britt Carpenter on Usula Media. Thanks for joining me today. As we continue on with our theme for this season's shows, as far as switching gears, I am sitting here today with a friend of mine and a community member who has made an impact in many ways. One of them being he is a small business owner that's making it big. He is a person that has made transitions in his own life personally and professionally. And he is sitting here with me right now, and that is Tim Galloway. Hey, Tim.
Howdy.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. It's just I did 3 takes on the beginning of this because I messed up.
We're off to a great start.
That was your fault, man. You messed me up.
Hey, look, I'll bear the burden.
You make me sweat. Bro. It's bad. But anyway, thanks for finally getting over here because it's been pulling teeth, And this is cool because this is how we met.
Mm-hmm.
You and I met for the first time face to face.
Yep.
I was doing your podcast.
That's right.
And that was a year ago, almost.
Yeah.
Almost August, I think it was.
Was it August?
I think so. And we were able to do that, and it was cool. And we connected because, number one, you knew about Philly Unknown, which is my nonprofit, so you knew about that. Mm-hmm. We connected because you were looking to do, a donation drive.
Yep.
And you were looking to do it because our missions sort of aligned, but and which was really cool, and I love that. But I know who you are, Tim, and I know about Good Werks is because you are the owner, the founder, proprietor, the operator. You are everything. The custodial engineer.
Yeah,
you answer the emails. Yes. You do everything.
I do.
You are. But I know that. So tell my audience, who the hell is Tim Galloway?
Oh, I don't know if your audience wants that notes answer.
Right
now. So I'm Tim, obviously. I just moved out to Philly about a year ago. I brought my business, Good Werks, with me. I had a really amazing opportunity to link up with Fuel Hunt, who is Fuel Hunt is a Philly-based business as well. I share space with them, and they're incredible dudes, Joey Bowen and Drew Beach, who are, Joey is through and through Philadelphia. He is a Philly guy. And so I made a connection with him in 2022, I think, somewhere in there. And I got connected with them, and our values and kind of like morals and the way we approach life and business and relationships really aligned. And they have a beautiful space, and they had extra space, and it was time for a change for me and for Good Werks because my business had reached a point where I was unable to keep up with the demand for my product, which is an incredible problem to have.
It's not a bad problem at all.
No, not at all.
Not as a small business owner.
Correct. Mm-hmm. So I reached that point, and I needed space, and I needed a space where I could bring employees in as I've been growing the business. So that was the goal. And then part of Good Werks is something that I've always done with Good Werks is to make sure that I give back, that the business is not solely about me creating products. So what I do make, we haven't talked about that yet. I make soft goods, like everyday carry soft goods, so pouches, bags. I make my flagship product is called the Boogie Bag. It's a hard use hip pack. I hate saying they're indestructible, but they're pretty damn hard to break.
For people listening, they won't be able to see, but people watching, they can pick yours up.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Hello. And it's cool because, I love wearing fanny packs because you carry everything in it.
Yeah.
But, that connotation of saying fanny pack was always just such a weird connotation.
That's why I say hip pack.
As a hip pack, but you call them boogie bags, which is so cool because it's a little bit more of a hipper thing.
A hipper.
Yeah, you like that?
I caught that.
I'm just making sure you're not that slow.
I am, but it was I just had a fluke.
That's the whole Michigan thing, though. That's why.
Dang! Don't throw the Midwest under the bus. Come on now. But no, this is an atypical one. This is not a standard. Like this fabric is way different than what I normally use. This is actually a duplicate of another piece that's going to be raffled off soon. So the floods just happened in Texas, in Hill Country, Texas, and I know folks who are down there that are helping, doing like a lot of rescue and SAR exercises and stuff like that. And I see stuff like that, and I can't go down and do the cool guy stuff, man. Like I can't get down there and like search through debris. I can't clear debris. I'm not a trained professional in any sort of way, so I can't help with like trauma or recovery or anything like that. So what I do try to do is help with my business, enable that. So what I kind of looping back to where I was going was Good Works has not just been about the product, but about the community and being able to serve. So throughout the course of my business, I like raffles because raffles generate more money than like an auction. So to help generate funds, what I'll do is I'll make like one-off gear. I'll combine forces with other businesses that offer things that people want. Like I've worked with Fuel Hunt. Fuel Hunt's going to be contributing to this raffle, which is really amazing.
And Fuel Hunt is a name that a lot of people know.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, they're a very well-known name in like fightwear and apparel.
Right.
And they, their mantras and their mindset and their ethic are all things that I adhere to. Like I'm wearing my own shirt today, which was printed by them, and like I have a shirt of theirs for every day of the month. So it's like I really believe in what they're doing because it we kind of coalesce. Like we come together and have the same way to approach things. So with Good Works, it's always been about giving back, and it's not just about me having a business to make money for myself. Granted, that's definitely an aspect of it. However, the more money that I make, the more money I can channel through my business, the more money and the more change that I can affect through the business.
How long ago did you start Good Works?
I started Good Works in 2020.
2020.
Yes.
And that was right at the pandemic.
Yeah. So I was a photojournalist for about 10 years. I was a freelance photojournalist in Detroit. I've worked for Detroit News, Detroit Free Press, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Associated Press. A lot of the large local and like regional and national publications I've shot for, and I also had like a portrait headshot studio for a while. I've shot weddings, and I've done all sorts of. I've done some commercial work too.
You're a hell of a photographer. I mean, you took that picture of me last year, and I keep that up as my profile picture.
Yeah, that's
if you can make
been
me
up
look
for
that
a year.
good, then hey,
Yeah,
I haven't moved it. I haven't changed it.
Some people it's more difficult than others. So if yours is still up, then I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good subject to shoot, but Anyway, go ahead.
Debatable.
Go on. I'll remember that.
So,
I'm keeping tabs.
Yeah, 2020 happened, and at that time I had a studio in Flint, Michigan. So I'd already moved out of my main area of business, and as a freelancer, I mean, you get a call, and they say, hey, can you go shoot this at this time? And it's a yes or no. And it got to the point where it wasn't worth me going down to Detroit from Flint, which is it's about an hour drive, depending on where in Detroit you're going, an hour plus drive. So it wasn't worth me driving down, working an assignment for 4 hours, and then driving back home for $125.
This is the first time I've ever heard your accent come out.
What did I say that?
Hour.
You
said, yeah, the way you said it though was definitely that
hour.
Michigan, Detroit, Canadian border.
Oh, don't say that.
That's exactly what I associated.
We can go with Michigan, Detroit, but
that's where I associate it though. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like, it does.
I know. If I were a
but that was really the very first time I ever heard it come out.
Yeah. Well,
but
there it is.
So you were in Flint though, and Flint itself is not a.
So Flint has its own like whole separate set of issues. One of the things that I was fortunate enough to cover, I say fortunate with a. Often as a photojournalist, you'd feel like a vulture because a lot of times you're going into people's homes and lives on like some of like the worst days of their lives, right? And so, but those stories need to be told. So you would kind of, I think if you had any sort of moral compass, you would kind of struggle with that as that professional doing that. But I did get to cover some of the Flint water crisis as that was going on when Flint had switched from Detroit water to the lake, and then they switched back. And then what ended up happening is there was a chemical reaction within the existing water system, and it started releasing lead and contaminants into the water. So people were having all these issues, like kids were getting like rashes and hives taking baths. You couldn't drink the water. So like there was a big issue with that. So I was able to cover that. Then well, no, I wasn't. So I've never lived. I've always been on Detroit water, thankfully. Okay. So like I was never affected personally by that. But having gone to people's homes and
you were affected personally
seeing
then.
That, well,
in that aspect, I think people don't realize when you are a photojournalist, you're telling stories that need to be told. That it's not sensationalism; it's the truth. But it's a different way to do the story. So being hopefully. So when you say being a predator or vulture, when you go in like that, I think that's the mindset of certain people.
Yes.
But I think it depends on how you present it and how that's really
it's definitely
unfolded.
Tact. It's certainly tact, and it's certainly presentation. And I think that when I'd become a photojournalist, I think that realm has changed drastically. And it's been 20 years, close to 20 years since I was interested, really pursued that path. And if you follow media, if you follow news, you know how drastically it's changed, in the recent decades. I think that a lot of the I can't grasp the word that I'm searching for right now, but like the prestige, like the kind of like the honor that was behind being the fourth estate has been lost. And I think that a lot of it is due to people wanting to spin stories, organizations leaning certain ways. And I'm not saying one way or the other. It's both on any side.
Oh, I know what you're talking about for sure.
So that was really a sad thing to see as I was becoming more and more proficient and more involved in that realm, in that profession, that it was just starting to decline more and more. And that was a bummer. So in 2020,
right,
what happened is we started getting all the isolation tactics happening. Everything was getting shut down. I started getting emails and calls saying, hey, you can't get access any longer. A lot of the staff photographers were okay because they worked for these publications, whatever they happen to be.
You're freelance.
But as a freelancer, you don't get afforded a lot of the same opportunities, right? So I started getting phone calls and emails saying, hey, you can't do this. So what were my choices, right? Like I could do what? Just sit at home and, take a check from the government? Like that's a hard pass for me. So I was like, man, like what do I like? And I've always been a gear nerd. Like I love backpacks and pouches and things with zippers, and I like stuff I love knives. And
were you a skater?
I tried to be, but in my youth, I was much more calorie dense, and falling was quite painful. So like I loved like the style, and like I was a metal kid, so I had a nice deck, but like I never.
You couldn't really ride. It was just for show.
I could, but generally riding ended up in tumbling and falling, and then the bigger they are, the harder they fall, and I fell pretty hard. So,
but it also makes sense with being a photographer,
mm-hmm.
Having your camera bags.
It's like
compartments and zippers and pouches, and
I'm one of the people that if I get fixated on a thing, like if I look for instance, I recently upgraded some of my camera gear. And because I still that part of me still lives on. It was one of the most difficult things to shift from the identity of a photographer to what I'm doing now. That was a really difficult thing for me to transition from. And I recently got a new camera that I was like I'm super excited about, and I got like a couple new lenses, and I was like, I need a bag because I have to have a bag for my camera. And I can't tell you how many hours I spent like just looking at like, man, what would the use case be? How would I use this? How would I organize this? Like, so I went down like this rabbit hole and like, how is it built? Where is it built? What materials is it made of? How big is it? What's the displacement? Am I going to put a water bottle in? Like all these things. So like, I love that stuff. Like, it's just something that I fall into. And whenever I'm looking at things, I tend to be critical of them, and not in a like this sucks way, but it would be a little bit better if. So I figured, like, why don't I try to make my own stuff?
That's still sort of this sucks sort of way, though.
Yeah, okay.
Not as negative, though. Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
But so that shift, though, and you're right. You did a shift from storytelling through photojournalism
mm-hmm.
to making bags.
Yeah.
In 2020, because you weren't going to take a check, which is very admirable because most people sat back, took a check,
and
then did work too.
Yeah, I can't do that.
So, but why bags? Out of everything you could have done, other than the fact that you like zippers and
pouches,
pouches,
I don't know. Like I would look at bags and packs and go, you know what? Like I could probably figure out how to build this.
But this wasn't like you like ordered bulk bags and added to it. You were making these from scratch.
Yes. So to be clear, like I don't have a backpack yet. Like it's one of the things that I've like dreamt of like building, and it takes time to develop, like to build and develop these things. So I started with pouches. Before May of 2020, I had never touched a sewing machine. So I was talking to my mom. My mom is big into like embroidery. So that's a completely different realm. And so like we started looking at sewing machines, and she ended up buying me my first sewing machine, and it was a heavy duty domestic machine that was used for denim.
And you have never sewn before?
Never.
On a sewing machine?
Never.
Like never like in home ec, you didn't have that class and everything like that?
I'd never touched a sewing machine before May of 2020.
Have you ever stitched anything by hand?
Maybe.
Okay, so this is
maybe like a button probably.
This is totally new to you.
Brand new. Yeah, so I think it was like the end of April, early May, I got the first machine. I went to YouTube University, and I went to Joann Fabric and Michael's and just started buying stuff, and just started I sat in the basement in my home where I was living, and I sewed stuff.
During the pandemic,
Yes.
you went from like you isolated in a basement to sewing.
Oh, isolated in the basement and sewing in the basement. Yeah.
Wow.
So-
in Flint, Michigan.
Outside of Flint.
Outside
But yeah,
of
it's
Flint.
like just outside of Flint. Yeah.
Still, it wasn't like you were in the booming metropolis area.
No. I was in a little, a quaint, quiet little suburb of Flint, about 6 miles away from Flint. And yeah, man, I was just sewing in the basement workshop.
That must lead you to you're by yourself and lead you to a lot of time.
Well, I was married. I was married at the time.
Okay.
It was in the home that I shared with my my now ex. So like yeah, like it was like that. I was at work. Like that was work for me. So like she had a great job, and she was currently unable to work. She was in the healthcare in that realm, and so she was unable to go to work for a period of time. So she would just be at home hanging out, and I went into the basement with my sewing machine.
And sewed.
So yeah, and then I launched. The official start date of Good Werks is June 15th. So between that
2020.
Yeah.
Wow, not even
So
like
6 weeks.
Yeah, not even a few weeks. So let me add, and we're gonna get more into, but
Yeah.
Good Works.
Good Works, yeah.
WERKS.
WERKS,
Why
yeah.
the E? Why were you being different? Is there symbolization there or?
No, that's just wanted something different. So like, it also kind of reminds me of like Euro stuff. I'm a huge Euro car nerd. I love like Volkswagen, Audis, Porsche. Like those are like my dream cars, and like is an RS6 Audi. So like I love that. So just kind of like a twist on that. I was gonna go with Stitchworks, and then a buddy of mine at the time, he was like, "Yo, you should look at your hand," because like I have good tattooed on the back of my hand, and it's a daily reminder to like that everything is good. Like you can, like you have a problem, good. You have the opportunity to solve that problem. Like you have an injury, good. You have the opportunity to rest. Like, so it's like a thing that I try to like keep in mind, like every day as I approach things, that like your environment and the experience that you have in life is completely dependent on your perspective. So if you can maintain good in your mind for everything, if you can find that thing in that obstacle that's good, then you're set. So, and he was like, "Good, man, like call it Good Works." And I'm like, "That's a great idea."
Plus,
So-
you're doing good.
right, and that was the next thing was like the plan was always to involve the community and always to serve. So like that was like just kind of came to be that way.
So you're in 2020. You're in the basement. You're in outside of Flint, Michigan. You're living with your now ex-wife, and 5 years later, as you just had your 5th anniversary, because I was there at the
Yep.
celebration,
Yep.
which was amazing.
Thank you.
It was
glad to have you
incredible.
there.
A good time, good people,
Yeah.
good energy. I think, we talked about it, like having that quality
Yes.
individual is so more important than that quantity
Yes.
of individual. But, most people that are in Philly, they'll make a change by going from Fishtown to Brewery Town, or they'll go from, from Grad Hospital to Ardmore. You went from Michigan to Port Richmond.
Yeah. Or well, I guess I'm closer to Kensington than Port Richmond, but yeah.
Yeah, well, people,
Whatever.
you didn't know boundaries. We talked about that.
I don't know. I
But
don't know. So
was that due to the Few Will Hunt, your connection with Joe?
Yeah. So the connection with Few Will Hunt was the primary reason to come to Philly. I came out in, I want to say March of last year. It was March or April. I had connected with Joey. There's a whole story behind it. A friend sent me a Few Will Hunt flag as a holiday gift one year. The flag says "Trust Hard Work" on it, and hard work is something that I truly do believe in, and that I thought I knew what it was before I came here. But like since I've been here, I'm learning more and more what hard work really is. So I had that flag sent to me with my photo background that gave me like a significant leg up with my business, because it enabled me to create content that was eye-catching, that helped me grow. With that, I posted a picture of my flag with my sewing machine, and they sent me a message. I tagged them on social media, and they were like, "Oh, cool, super cool. Like, thanks for flying with us." So, and over the years, we kind of developed like this friendship, an online friendship. And one day Joey sends me a message and says, hey man, like I've been thinking, like we have all this space, like how can we help you? Like, we kind of like, he went and like did like a deeper dive in my business. And he was like, I appreciate like how, like, how you approach your business and like what you talk about, like how you represent yourself in your business. Is there anything that we can do to help you? I was like, no. Like, look, I'm from the Midwest, man. For me, it's always like, no, I'm good. I don't need help. Like, it's kind of like how we are as people. And I was like, nah, like I'm set. But I was like, but if I think of anything, I'll let you know. A couple months went by and I was really like unhappy at home. I needed a change. Business was doing really well. I didn't have the ability to bring somebody in. Like I couldn't bring an employee into my home. So I was just like, I needed another place. I needed, so I sent Joey a message. I was like, hey, like you made this offer to me. What does it look like as far as like, you said you have all this space, a lot of it's unoccupied. Like, what does this look like for you? Like, is it a potential to, to bring Good Werks there? So we met up. I came out, drove out, met up with him. And it was one of those things where when you get with somebody that you align with, like the time becomes like no factor. Mm-hmm. And agreed. We had a meeting, like, we had a meeting set for 9:45, and the next thing you know, it's like 2:45 in the afternoon. We checked, he came, gave me the tour. We checked it out. We talked business, but we also talked like jiu-jitsu and cars and life and like all these other things, all these other aspects. And modern society and how like our approach to life and stuff like that. We talked all these things, and it was just, it felt fluid.
Made a connection.
Yeah, it was, and it was a genuine connection,
which is really hard to do in this day and age, especially as the older we get. Sometimes.
Yeah, I'm kind of conflicted on that. I'm slightly conflicted on that, but Joey and I definitely have a solid. Like a solid connection. And
I want to address when you say you're conflicted in it, and I know why you are, because I think I know why you are. Because if you take away potentially Good Werks and the stuff that you're doing, connections may not come as easy sometimes. But when you put yourself out there and you put yourself vulnerably out there in front of people, those connections come a lot easier, especially when people start believing in you and you start believing in yourself. And I'm just saying that because I've seen that with Good Werks and the people that are there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and that's not where my mind was, but
that's what I made it up for you. That's what it is.
Perfect.
I just made it up.
I'm going to agree with you.
Take that, run with it, and just move on.
Right. So we'll run with that. I was thinking now that actually like we're more connected than ever, right? Because it's the little electronic bricks that we have in our hands that are always keeping us connected.
Right.
Connected. Mm-hmm. And we have this, I think it's a facade. I think that it's a shallow connection. It's a
look at me.
What's that?
It's a look at me connection.
It's not even like I'm not even thinking it as so much as that, but I think it's like a superficial, only like a surface level connection. Like it's difficult to sit down with somebody that you're across the country from and have like a solid conversation, to be able to make eye contact, to see mannerisms, to hear pauses, to pay attention to how somebody's breathing or where they're looking or what they're doing with their hands or any of these things. Like that is something that we're missing with that, right? Like we're missing the interpersonal things that you can't get on a device, but we think that we're getting that.
I am a huge believer that we have downgraded in our society today because of the technology.
I agree.
It lost a lot of it. For me, don't text me 100 times. Pick up the phone and call me for 15 minutes. Let's solve it right there and then.
My bad.
And I'm not really talking to you, but okay. Remember that. Notate that, please. But
noted. Hold. Let me get my phone and put it. I'll store it in the notes on my phone.
I'll text you later and remind you.
Exactly.
But
perfect.
But for me, that's really important, especially when you have a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a lot of stuff going on in your life. You have life. You have a business. You have your personal life.
And we all do.
And we do. But I think that people take for granted that sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
So that's why I always feel like. Make it a 15-minute call if we have to, instead of a 4-day back and forth sort of thing.
Yeah.
And in my head, that's the personal connection.
Yes.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what the foundation of Philly Unknown was, connections. So hearing you say that is why I love hanging out with you guys. because of that. But anyway, go on.
We've got so derailed. So we
that's all right.
started
That's the
Good
way
Works.
this goes.
Philly. So yeah, I came out, visited Joey. It was super. It was a great time. And like before I took off, I was like, I can see Good Works in this, up there. And he agreed. He was like, yeah, like I can too. So he said, give me a little time, and we'll talk with my partner, talk with my co-founder, talk with the team at Fuel Hunt, and I'll let you know. So a couple months went by, and finally got the green light. So I did what I needed to do back in Michigan, and I came to Philly.
Packed up your sewing machine?
I packed up all my sewing machines.
How many did you have at that point? Because this was 2020 when you started.
Yeah.
So you came a year ago.
24. I came out in June 24.
4 years.
So I actually moved in on the 4-year anniversary of Good Works into the Fuel Hunt space.
Oh, sick.
To the day. Yep. So when the 5th year anniversary a couple weeks ago was also the 1-year anniversary of being in Philly. So same day.
A lot of symbolization there.
Yeah. So I may or may not have planned that, but it worked out.
Smart if you did.
It worked out to so that way the anniversaries do coincide.
So how many sewing machines did you come with?
Oh man, let's see. I got a new one recently, so I think I have 5. I had 5 then. So I have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
So you graduated from not knowing how to sew at all. Your mother bought you your first sewing machine. You're in a basement, and all of a sudden now you're uprooting your life, and you are doing a total 180, and you have 5 sewing machines.
Yeah. So and that's quite simplified. I mean, throughout the course of Good Works, I was able to bolster my workshop at home. The entire basement in Michigan was full of my stuff. So
wait, your whole operation was out of the basement?
Yes.
Because you got online and started selling the products.
Yes, correct.
Which people could find at goodworks.com.
Good-works.
Good-works.
Yeah.
WERKES.com.
Yes.
And they can find that. So you were also doing all your drop shipment from your basement?
Home. Yeah. So I would get all I'd have like a day a week or a couple of days, like depending on when orders would come in, and I would just I'd get all the orders packed up, and I'd just take them to the post office. Like I just had to take them all in and drop them off at the post. So it was, it was a lot of work. I mean,
so
it was
4 years later,
great.
you get your 5 sewing machines, and you get into a space, and that flag is still with you in that space.
Flag,
now that you say, because I took a picture of it at the anniversary.
Yeah, so it's that flag is returned home.
That's crazy. It's full circle.
Yeah,
really full circle.
Yeah, so it's pretty amazing.
So you get to Philly, and you're coming from the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Detroit. Did I say that right?
Detroit, yeah.
Yeah, see, we don't say it right over here. Everybody says it so differently. Detroit.
Some people say Detroit. People say
Detroit.
I've always said Detroit. I don't do the Detroit deal.
Well, the Kiss said it in their song Detroit.
Yeah,
Rock City.
but they're singing though.
That fucks everybody up then.
Yeah, well, only if you listen to Kiss.
I do. So
hey, look,
anyway,
I can see you rocking out the Love Gun.
Oh hell yeah, Love Gun! The minute I said that, I'm not even gonna mention Love Gun. I still have the album with the album actually came with these little punch out things, and one was a gun and stuff.
Yes, nice.
Yes. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked, tangent. But you show up here in Philly, almost like, here I am.
Yeah, it was. I rented my apartment. I rented a sight unseen. Just went online and
still in the same one.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited. In a few weeks, I'm moving. So, and I am moving to Globe Dye Works, which is where the workshop is. So I'm going to be walking to work and from work.
They have residents in there too?
Yeah, they do. So I'm going to be, I'll like in the winter, I'll just be able to walk through the building to the shop if I so choose.
Does that excite you?
Yeah, I'm stoked about that. Like I'm actually quite excited about it.
I think for me, if I didn't work with people like on a daily, like that would excite me if I could go and I could be by myself and not have to
like Caroline. I have a full-time employee. Like Caroline is there Monday through Friday. She's there with me throughout the week.
So wait, you've been in Philly for a year and you have a full-time employee that you employ
and a part-time, yeah,
and a part-time,
yeah,
and yourself,
yeah,
and you have space, and so you really took this business and just ran with it.
Yeah, there's no other option.
How many bags did you fuck up before you got to the point where you're like, this is it?
Innumerable. I don't know. It was a matter of, and one thing that I've really had to work on with this business is letting go of perfectionism, and that's a big struggle for me. And because I'm a very detail oriented person.
You're a photographer.
Well, some of
I'm sorry, you're a photojournalist. So
there's some different realms there.
You're a photojournalist.
Yes,
so
yes,
like there's
yes.
a big difference there. I'm sorry, you're
Yes,
right.
yes,
As a photojournalist, there's an OCD aspect to it.
There has to be.
And a type A personality.
There has to be. I've come close to losing clients because of typos. One time, I switched an I and an O in somebody's name. The person saw the byline and they contacted the newspaper. I got a call from my editor, and my editor said, if you do it again, you can't work for us any longer. So there's like attention to detail is a big thing for me. And it's still when I'm building, when I'm making my stuff, it's still top priority for me. And I tell that to my employees too. Like, I'm okay with people making mistakes. I am totally fine with questions. I like, if you mess something up, come and tell me. I don't want to find this like while I'm packing a bag and like putting an order together and I see that there's a mistake on something. Like, I want you to tell me midline. I want you to tell me midstream, so that way I can go, cool, no problem. This is how we fix this. Or, hey, we're just going to put this aside. And
Were you that gentle on yourself when you made mistakes?
Never.
So when you were making those bags and you messed up, and how mad were you at yourself?
Mad. There were times where something would happen, like where I would have like a catastrophic mistake on a bag, and I would just be furious. I've tried. I know they're tough because I've tried ripping them apart with my hands and just pulling. I couldn't. So like, there's been like moments where I've had to say, hey, you know what? Like, I know this stitch is off 1/8 of an inch, but like, it's okay. Like, no one's gonna know.
I was gonna say, and that's the beauty, I think, of it. Like, you know,
it is. That's part of it for sure. Yeah.
You know, unless you know the specific details of what your specs are, of what you're sewing and doing, you know, getting the stitches there, nobody's going to know. You know.
I know.
That's even more interesting that you came full circle, that you were so hard on yourself, but you're saying to your staff now, you have a staff in a year, hey, it's okay. So you're learning different skills too with this whole.
There's really actually I was having a conversation with Caroline today, and just discussing. I talk with her about business, about like what it's kind of like what I'm dealing with as like somebody who runs and owns this business. And there's always something to modify. There's always an obstacle. It's like a ping pong. Like you're going back and forth. So my issue before coming out here was I don't have enough hands to build enough product to meet my demand. Now I've got the hands, I have product, and now I don't have enough demand for my product. So now I'm having to switch gears, and like I'm having to shift what I do in order to build that demand again. Right, so there's always some sort of struggle. There's always some sort of obstacle, but through those things is like we learn about ourselves, and we learn how to like fix those things. And like I'm a big fan of Stoicism, like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. I really love Stoic teachings. So there's a book by Ryan Holiday, who is like he's like currently the guy that knows the Stoics right now, and he has multiple books, and one of his books is The Obstacle is the Way. And it's taken from a Marcus Aurelius quote. Mm-hmm. And I have one thing hanging on my wall in my apartment currently, and it's a canvas of Marcus Aurelius. Like I absolutely love their teachings, but the obstacle is the way. And it's the thing that you're butting up against. It's the thing that you are trying to overcome. It's the thing that like you're getting the friction from. Like that's addressing that it has the answers that you're seeking. Like that holds all the answers, is figuring that problem out. So as a business owner, there's you run into these obstacles, and it's like, okay, like as long as I don't quit, I'm good. Like I just can't quit. Like that's the only thing. Like figure out the problem. Like I'm one thing that I'm good at is troubleshooting. I've worked so many different jobs, and one of the jobs that I really loved, my brother owned a company, and he's now dead. He died in 2011. He's my half brother. He's much older than I was. He had a company, and we would go install encrypted point of sales terminals. So back in the day, when states were migrating from the paper food stamps to the electronic benefits. Remember those old square gray Verifone boxes? We would go install those Verifone boxes in locations, and we would program them specifically for those locations, so that way when they would dial up their modems and connect, that the correct location and accounts and stuff would be going through as people like scan their, like swipe their cards through. So we would also set up these massive networks in these like we would go into a grocery store and it would have like 12 lanes, and say like 6 of those lanes had an EBT terminal. So what we'd have to do is we'd have to network all these terminals together, so that way they could communicate like properly and on time, so that way like they're not communicating over one another, getting caught up. And so like we would often run into problems like, okay, there's no dial tone at this one. Why don't we have a dial tone? Like, okay, like is the jack wired correctly? Like, yeah, that's good. Okay, great. Is it plugged in on the other end? Okay, good. Is the punch board wired correctly? Okay, that's good. Okay, is there a kink in the line? Did the line get broken somewhere? Like, so through that, I learned to troubleshoot, and like I got to do it with my brother, which was really like we would drive all over the place. Like we would be all over the road.
How much older?
Significantly. He was my half brother. He was 71 when he died in 2011. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, so that's
yeah. I have a very strange family background.
It's a different podcast.
Yes, it is. That's a whole thing in and of itself. But
this is stuff I'm finding out here.
Yeah. But the things that I learned from being with him on the road were really just incredible, and like having being able to problem solve. So and being a business owner, like I didn't know a lot about. Like I was too young to really understand, and you know how it is, man. Like as you age, like you start seeing these things and remembering these things that you were told in your younger years, and you're like, damn, like he was right. Like, man, like I should have listened. I should have done this. I could have done this differently. Man, if I would have paid attention, I would be like these things. So like he ran his business. He had partners, but like being able to see that like the freedom that he had with that. And like what he was able to do, like build the life that he built for himself, and like it were vastly different businesses, but being able to see him like troubleshooting, and he was always the dude that was like, he was the boss, like he was the boss, but he would still go out and do the installs. He would still go to the depot, like where we would program the machines, and he would still come in and help box the machines up and get the kits ready for the installers. Like he was still that guy that would come in and like. And then say hi to everybody. Like he knew everyone.
They always say that the best bosses are the ones that do the work with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
At dog walking and pet sitting company, I go out and I do it.
Yeah,
I'm not above that. That's important.
It's
you
your
hands
business.
Dirty with your employees and show them that you can walk the talk.
It's your business.
Yeah,
you're responsible for every aspect of it. And if you can't sit down and do the things that you're asking your employees to do, then you shouldn't you shouldn't be asking them to do that.
Exactly. I've always said that. Yeah. I would never ask an employee to do something I wouldn't do.
So and I have like today, like I'm building I have a new product called the heavy hauler. It's a big tote. It's the size of like the large IKEA.
I wanted to talk to you about that. I saw that on is that the one on the internet I just saw? I'm like, he has a tote.
Yeah, I have a couple of them. I have like a little mini one.
A lot of sold out stuff.
Yes, thankfully.
That's that. Yeah. I was at first. I'm like, look at this shit that's sold out. I'm gonna text him. I'm like, no, that's a good thing. It's sold out.
Yeah, you can text me and I'll get you set up. That's too
right.
That's too easy. That's too easy. So the heavy haulers, I'm building a batch of those, and they're brand new. I've only released them once so far, and as I'm building them and I'm putting them together, and I'm talking with Caroline, and I said, hey, like I'm building these out because I want to make sure that I know exactly how I want these built. Because as you build something, as you make something, especially when you do it hundreds of times, you start to find this minutia. You start finding these little tricks that put them together like the way there's a way. Have you heard of the Book of Five Rings?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I always mess up his name, Musashi Miyamoto. I always mess up his name. It's the Book of Five Rings. Sorry for messing up his name. He's like this grandmaster sword fighter, but he talks about the way of the thing itself. Miyamoto Musashi, I think is it. Anyway, the way of the thing itself, the more that you do something, the more that thing reveals itself to you. So, and that can be anything. It can be riding a bike. It can be walking. It can be meditating. It can be swordsmanship. It can be jiu-jitsu. It can be MMA. It can be anything. So in my case, like it's sewing, because it's what I do day in, day out. So as you're building these pieces, you start to have these little moments where you go, I could do this better. Like I could sew this better. I could sew this more efficiently. Or if I hold this piece this way and I push this piece this way, it'll go together better. So there's all these little things that start to come up as you build over and over and over and over and over again. So as I'm building these pieces, like I'm telling her like, hey, like I'm going to build these because I want to know exactly what I want from them. So that way I can do it and then I can show you how to do it. So you can't expect people to do things that you can't do yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
and it's just good practice.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. It's a good sign of character.
Yeah. And
dude, going from photojournalism to going to sewing bags, which isn't just sewing bags, and I'm not making light of that.
No.
But that's your skill right now. That's what you do. You garments, products and accessory, which is amazing stuff. How has that changed you personally? Because that's a big switch, man. It's not like you went from like running this to running that. You went from two different ends.
Yeah,
like
they're different skill sets for
sure.
I'm very grateful that I had the background that I had, like because it helped me generate content that I needed to make myself stand out. And I've built websites and stuff too. So being able to like build my own website to populate all the content by myself, not having to like pay somebody to do it. I used to also write for a local publication when I was in Flint. I used to write and shoot stories. So like I had experience building copy. So like I was able to build all the copy myself. I was able to shoot all the visuals myself. I was able to run all the social media. I built the website myself. Like I did all that stuff. So like that was a huge benefit. That I had as I like switched over, and like it was tough, man. Like I used to participate in GoRuck events. It's for those who don't know, GoRuck is basically you put a heavy backpack on and you go out and you do these military-based, team-based endurance events. And I used to be known in that.
If you ever see people in the city doing that, it's them.
Yeah,
they're walking around the city like crazy men in the heat with these things on.
So I was known in that community as a photographer because I had worked for GoRuck for a while, and then I had shadowed a ton of events. I had a really solid crew in Pittsburgh and Steel City Ruck Club, and through that community, like I was known as a photographer because my photos are good, and like I was good at what I did. Mm-hmm. So when I transitioned over to GoodWorks, it was really I was out in Ocean City, Maryland. For an event that I was photographing, but I already had launched GoodWorks by that point. So like I was going out for a group of my friends. I was going to make photos of the event because it's gonna be super fun. And some people knew me as the photographer, and then some people knew me as the GoodWorks guy. So it was like this kind of like strange transitional thing where it's like, man, like I'm not known as like the photographer anymore. And that was for the longest time, it was my dream to go chase conflict photography. Like I wanted to go in bed. Like that was my ultimate goal. And I didn't ever achieve it. I didn't ever achieve that. But it was kind of like having to let go a part of myself that I really like defined myself with. Like we get into these cycles and revolutions in our lives and we start to identify as certain things. And it doesn't matter, like it can be anything. Like a lot of people identify with their career, a lot of people identify with their hobbies. So, and I identified as like, I'm a photojournalist. Like I'm an image craftsman. Like I build images. And as that started changing, it was tough for me to let that go.
Because that was your persona,
Yeah.
So if you had to identify with now, sitting here in 2025 after everything, how would you identify?
Oh man. I don't think I would anymore. I'm just me, and like I'm just like this weird amalgamation of like the experiences that I've had.
Are you the same me that you were though in 2019?
No, definitely not.
Are you the same me as you were in 2023?
No.
You've been evolving, huh?
Yeah, big time.
How does that feel?
It's a mixed bag. It's part of it's like wildly empowering, right? Because part of it's like, yo, man, like it was scary coming here, but like I'm here a year, like, and like I'm still like I'm doing well, like, things are good.
How many sewing machines do you have now?
Yeah, I one more, plus one.
So yeah, plus one.
Plus one, but plus an employee, plus an employee.
That's all right though.
Yeah.
So you're building.
Yeah, I'm building.
And you're growing.
Revenue is up, and businesses. People are in a weird spot right now because everything that's going on, like socially, just politically, everything, right? But like, I'm really grateful that like revenue is up. So I'm like really actively working on getting new customers. That's like the biggest thing I need right now. But yeah, I mean, like things are better. I'm definitely not the same person. Even a year ago, I'm not the same. Like I said before, like when I came here, I thought that I knew what hard work was, and man, like I had no clue. Like now I'm the guy that gets up at 5:30 in the morning and like gets to work, like have my breakfast, go to work.
You always say surround yourself by the people you want to be like.
Yeah, or if you with my homies in the Fuel Hunt crew, rule number 11 is you are who you hunt with.
Amazing. And I think I want to touch real quick, before we close, on what you've built and what I've experienced and what I witnessed, because you told me everything how you feel. I'm going to tell you what I saw. Great. And when I saw with that and I said it that night when I saw with your anniversary, I saw people who traveled from many different states. Idaho was not one of them though. Yeah. Indiana was though. Yes. See, I knew this. Indiana. I know my geography. I know that Idaho is right up the road. We're cool. Okay, leave me alone. But I've seen people travel to come here. I see people slept in their cars overnight to be a part of this event. What you've just started is not just a garment industry. You started a movement. I said it that night, and it's hard for people to understand.
It's hard for me to understand.
When you start a movement like Joey has started, with a few, like Philly Unknown has started. Yeah. You have started it because you have these people who show up for you. Yeah. And they're showing up because of you and what you have, what you have developed, what you have built. And you continue to build it, and it's impressive, man.
Thank you.
And that evolution, you've evolved so much. Even the year that I've known you, you've evolved, from everything from physically to mentally to spiritually.
Yeah. Thank you. And what you said about like those people showing up, like that's like really like the community of Good Werks is like the biggest thing, man. And that was like, I had Travis and his wife came up from South Carolina. My buddy, one of my best friends, Corey Murphy, and he brought his daughter up from Indiana. Like it was huge. And Kev Walker came up from Baltimore. Like that was incredible to have those people like show up. And I don't want to say like show up for me. Like that's I hate thinking of it like that. But
they didn't show up for the bags.
Well, I know they didn't show up for the bags, but I
give yourself credit where it's due, my friend.
No, it's not that. It's for me, the point of that was to celebrate the people who wanted to show up, not to celebrate me. Like it was me trying to do something to show like my appreciation for others, right? Like I didn't want to do that just to be like, hey,
But they showed up because they appreciate you.
So it's a mutual thing, and yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't the point of it wasn't to be like, hey, I'm celebrating me for 5 years. It was, hey, like this is thank you to you that I made it 5 years, because like without those people who show up for Good Werks, without those people who continually throw into raffles, like I'm fairly certain, like I'm almost positive that we've garnered over $100,000 for various nonprofits over the years. So like, and I'm gonna continue to work on that and make that better, because like that's a big thing. So it's like the people who show up and do that, the people who tag me and post, the people who put their gear through the paces, the people who just send me a message and say, hey man, I love this, or who send me a picture. Like I got a picture from a dude who doesn't post on social, and he posted a picture of him like he was like out like fishing, and like he was wearing his boogie bag, and he caught like a fit like when he was out like deep sea fishing or something. And it's like that stuff is amazing. It's incredible. Like to be a really small part of somebody's life via a hip pack or a pouch is like, it's wild to me. It's absolutely just mind blowing. And to have people like have the cognizance and like the thoughtfulness to be like, hey, like this is what I'm experiencing while I'm wearing this piece that you built. Like that's incredible to me.
So if in like a sentence or two, if you could tell somebody who is on that fence about making that switching gears sort of thing in life and
stop waiting. Stop waiting. Like if you know what you're called to do, like if you like, and I don't feel like I'm called to do this. It just the way it worked is the way it worked. But man, if like you're in a job that you hate, get out, leave the job. Like you gotta go, because there's no more time. Like you're dead. You're already like, We are ticking down to the day that we die, and that's it. And then nothing matters. As soon as you stop breathing, nothing matters anymore.
True test comes at the very end, man.
So it's just like stop doubting yourself, stop delaying, stop living a life that you hate. Like stop like putting yourself through these like this like 9 to 5. I'm just in it for the weekend job. Like stop. Like if you feel called or compelled to do something, like there's no reason to not to. And people think that, I need to believe in myself to do this. It's bullshit. And all you have to do is like take a step, because what's going to cause that belief, what's going to cause that confidence, what's going to like build that is you taking one step. Go toward it. It doesn't matter how small it is. It's something. And the way that you build that confidence, the way you build that belief is by taking a step and then another step and then another step. Man, I was scared shitless to come out here. I thought I figured I would be like on the streets by now. Cost of living here is crazy. My business wasn't like, I didn't know, like my personal bills like quadrupled coming here.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, what am I doing?
You're making it.
I'm making it. Like I've never in my life had a panic attack ever, except for the night before I moved here.
I can understand that.
So it's like, people are afraid to invest in themselves. They're afraid to take risks with themselves. But if you get rid of plan B and you are your plan A and that's it, you can't lose if you don't quit.
You can't lose if you don't quit.
You can't. It's impossible.
I love that.
It's either a win or it's a lesson.
I love that. So if people want to follow you, where can they follow you? On Instagram?
Off the cliff. No.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have a Facebook account, but I loathe Facebook, so I don't really check it. My Instagram is just Instagram/goodwerks, GOODWERKS, and that's it. And if you sign up for my newsletter, you get like a 10% discount, and you get updates for the shop, like weekly updates, and that's how I notify people that stuff is in stock.
Good-works, good-works.
Yep, good-works, WERKS.com.
If they want to order, get on there, check it out.
Yes.
Tim, this is amazing. You are amazing. This has been really cool to be able to ask you the questions.
Thank you.
To be able to pull back, because you're always asking me questions and pull some information.
I'm an inquisitive person.
So, but thanks for all you do, and thanks for all your support, and I appreciate it. And make sure you check Tim out. Make sure you check out his boogie bags. They're sick. I love mine. It's something that I cherish. And I'm not going to tell him, but I actually carry it with me almost all the time.
That's great.
So, but Tim, thanks again. I appreciate you.
And I'm gonna. I know time is at the end, but I also really appreciate what you're doing. Like being able to go to the garden was super powerful for me and helping out. And I know that Murph loved it, and I know that Travis loved it. So and then seeing the things that you're doing in the city, I sat when I learned about because when I came, I had no idea about K&A. I knew a little bit. But one of the first things that I did, once I found Philly Unknown, after, because Kellen introduced us, I sat in my apartment and I watched all the documentaries on YouTube that I could find.
Oh, geez.
And so you doing the work that you do is powerful, and seeing that is incredible.
Thank you.
So if I can do something a little bit to help continue that, I'm gonna do it.
Well, you already are. You've done it. And you got us a brand new lawnmower, our first brand new lawnmower. I cut the grass for the first time with 4 wheels on a lawnmower. This is sick. It was awesome. Good. So I appreciate you saying that. And it's because of people like yourself and the sport that I get that I can do that. Yeah. And that's how this works.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's this whole little crazy thing called life.
Yeah. So we need more of that.
Absolutely. So everybody, make sure that you follow Tim. Make sure you check out everything Good Werks is doing. And remember, whatever it is you stand for, be a voice. This is Britt Carpenter on social media. Have a great rest of your day.